New summer stimulus checks are being distributed, and these checks range from $675 to even $1,000. Many homeowners and taxpayers will qualify to get this check, and now stimulus checks have become a significant part of the American economy, providing financial support to individuals and families during times of economic uncertainty. But as summer countries continue to rise, some states in the United States are continuing to provide financial boosts to the economy, providing relief to the residents by issuing additional rebate checks. Some checks will be sent out this fall, and some others will not. Montana homeowners, for instance, can file their claim for this year's property tax for up to starting in August. The rebates are available after the governor signed a bill law which provides a property tax rebate of up to $675. It's for Montana homeowners at their primary residence. And beginning August 15th, officials say you can go online to claim a refund. Claims must be filed by October 1st, and each rebate is $675 or an amount not to exceed the property taxes on a Montana residence for each year. Rebates are only paid to available taxpayers and paid Montana property taxes on the principal residence in each year. According to the Department of Revenue, to qualify during each year, you must have owned a Montana residence for at least 7 months. Lived in the Montana residence for at least 7 months and paid property taxes as well. To pay property taxes well, the governor also emphasized the need for long-term reforms. He stated, while our property tax rebate will help these two next years, we must make a significant reform to provide homeowners with significant long-term tax relief. These property tax rebates are in addition to the income tax rebates that Montana has already begun distributing this month. The Montana Department of Revenue says there are issuing rebates of 2021 individual income taxes to over 530,000 qualifying taxpayers. The department anticipates distributing most rebates by August 31st, and taxpayers don't even need to apply for the rebate. Money will be directly deposited into the bank, or a check will be sent depending on how the individuals file their latest income tax. The individual income tax rebate is a result of the legislature providing House Bill 192 during the 2023 legislative session, which set aside $500 million of the surplus just to provide some income tax rebate. Federal lawmakers have introduced a bill that would give consumers a tax break on the purchase of a new EV bike. The electrical bike incentive kickstart is for the environment. It will give a tax credit amounting to 30% of an electrical bike price, capped at $1,500. New e-bikes that cost less than $8,000 will be eligible for the refund, up from what initially $4,000 and what Joe Biden proposed in the Build Back Better. But the new bill also doubles the income limits to receive the maximum credit, up to $150,000 for a single filer and $300,000 for joint filers. This tax credit was ultimately eliminated from the Build Back Better Act and was left out after the IRA. Even the California representatives are calling this a common-sense way to encourage ownership for this vehicle. In introducing the bill, lawmakers have pointed to the success rebate program that Denver had last year. Even though Hawaii senators said that transitioning to a clean energy economy includes changing the way we get around, our bill will make it way more affordable for people to get an e-bike and help get cars off the road. In 2024, that e-bikes are generally viewed as a better replacement for cars than analog bikes because people ride them more frequently and for longer distances on them. So people can get the help they need by purchasing this.
People really are at risk for losing their money or even temporary access to their money. Why not get out while the getting's good? Ms. DeVito, if a crisis hit the banking system, does history suggest that a depositor, even a very big depositor, needs to worry about whether they will be able to access their money if it's at a community bank?
More often than not, all failed bank depositors are eventually made whole through resolution or once a bank's assets are sold. That can take time, sometimes weeks, months, years, for depositors to get that money back. And that kind of lag and general disruption can be incredibly harmful to businesses, especially larger depositors who need access to their funds. So large depositors at smaller institutions would be right to worry.
Okay, so it's not a huge risk, but it's a real risk. And since 2007, about 7% of failed banks had uninsured depositors that have still not fully recovered their money. Now, Ms. DeVito, what about the giant banks, the too big to fail banks? Does history suggest that a depositor should worry even a little about deposits in excess of $250,000 FDIC cap at those giant banks?
No, the federal government has demonstrated that it will take actions to backstop depositors at the biggest banks, no matter the financial cost. It then does recoup those losses by levying increased assessments, but those are spread across all banks. So this has created a system of implicit, unlimited coverage for the largest banks.
So what that says is that when depositors trigger a run, they're actually acting rationally. These businesses flee to the place that they know their money will be ready for them for sure, 100%.
Children. That's the American dream. That's what we strive for. That's what we sacrifice for. And that's what Democrats' radical policies are destroying. Today, the ex-chairman of the Federal Reserve said the U.S. economy is heading towards stagflation for the first time since the 1970s. Remember, in the 1970s, Democrats had control, at then late 70s, of the White House, of the Senate.
Schumer called on the Labor Department to join him in his fight to get Biden to forgive $50,000 in federal student loan debt. During a roundtable with Elizabeth Warren and union leaders, Schumer said there was a false narrative about whose student debt cancellation would benefit. Schumer stated, "Let's dispel one awful myth right here. That is not a problem that concerns the wealthy or the Ivy League. It's affecting working class people." Schumer also appeared to be speaking directly to Biden, who has repeatedly framed canceling student debt as a handout to the well-off. Schumer and lawmakers have made it clear that they will continue to push for student debt cancellation, and the Biden administration is grappling with the fact that the idea of student debt forgiveness infuriates many Americans, including those who never borrowed for their education or went to college. Taxes on employees making more than $400,000. The bill has gained some support, but is so far stalled in Congress. A big update, everybody. For Social Security and stimulus checks, eligible people can start applying today for additional stimulus assistance, and there are several programs that have been created that are aimed to providing financial help to Americans during this time. Today, people in Connecticut were able to start applying for a tax rebate just for families. The rebate, which was created as part of the budget bill that the governor signed into law last month, provides taxpayers with a state tax rebate of up to $250 per child for a maximum of 3 children. Any Connecticut resident who claimed at least one dependent, 18 or younger, on their 2021 tax return may be eligible as well. And while not everyone was qualified to receive the rebate, the Department of Revenue Services estimated more than 300,000 households can meet eligibility. Those applicants may see the extra money relatively soon. The filer status income threshold is single to married filing separately $100,000 or less and head of households. The rebate is for middle-class families. However, those who have higher income rates may be eligible to receive a reduced rebate based on their income. The period to apply began this week and ends on July 31st. The Department of Revenue Services said eligible families should start to receive their rebates in late August, right before the start of the new school year. The rebate came as the Biden administration pushed inflation as a top priority. A recently announced proposal